The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, squeezably soft host for the Power Trading Hour. And of course, kind of an interesting day out here. Some are not interesting. This one, kind of a enigma wrapped in a riddle, probably told with a joke and a smile, because it's kind of hard to actually get the full drift of the market out here. Off 5 points on the S&P cash, 2.14 billion shares on the New York Consolidated Tape, and trying to see some of these stocks being pushed around or pushed back up, but not a lot of juice one way or the other. And there's markets where selling is significantly higher than the buying, or buying is significantly higher than the selling. And then there's markets like this where there's not anything significant about either the buying or selling, only that one is a little bit more than the other. And today we've got one of those markets where we've seen this pattern, which is buy every dip, but don't buy the breakouts. And of course, the highs on those continue to fluctuate right around this 1260 area on the S&P cash. But we're having that again today. They tried to push the market back up. We got to a high of 2055 on the S&P cash. You know, off 6 points, is that a big deal? No, but it certainly starts to look like we've got at least a pattern setting up for the last week. And that is a lot of retail investors will come in and buy either in the morning or in the afternoon, only to see some rather large sales going into the close. We saw it on Friday and it's a few days last week. And that is that these market on close orders will pretty much show up in the last 30 minutes of the day. And you start seeing a great deal of people putting on S&P futures positions to the downside. And a lot of times they'll call that the smart money. And the old, I guess you could call it a saying or a chestnut in the market, is that the open belongs to the rubes and the close belongs to the pros. Just because they have so much more money to fire at these markets. And of course, in the last 20 years, we've seen a huge sea change in that, because fund managers now control the bulk of the money coming in from IRAs every month, just like Bessie the cow, just regular giving milk. But we still have fairly large swings out here. The question is, to me, has all the money from Europe finally come in, and that's the end of it? It is kind of a hard question to answer, because you could always have the market spooked a little bit more. We saw a huge move in the dollar index on Friday, and we're giving 24 cents of that back, but still in that 94.46 right now, but in that 94 area range. And it still looks to me like this dollar is building up steam to go to 98. And at that point, I don't know if we have an instant pullback, maybe somewhere around these levels, but it certainly looks to me like people are going to hide. There are a lot of reasons for that, and I saw some very troubling ones today. If you are a student of history, especially the Second World War, there was I bring it up regularly, there's a book called Guilty Men. These were the cowards that would not stand up to Hitler, and thought that a policy of appeasement would take care of an aggressor. That has never worked in the past. And of course, maybe they would have been looked at unkindly in history as someone who started a war. And that would be interesting. Unfortunately, a inflagration that cost probably somewhere between 72 and 75 million lives actually came because you didn't want to take care of a problem when it was a small problem, so you only waited until it was a big problem. Winston Churchill, pretty much from about 1930 on, 38 on, said that America will eventually come to the right decision after they've exhausted all other possibilities. And we finally did. But there was a lot of reasons and parallels that we have right now in history, especially before the Second World War. When I started seeing all the massive book burnings in Iraq and Iran over the last couple of weeks, if you haven't caught that on the news, does that not remind you of the Nazis with their giant book bans? And when I was over in Germany, pretty much right around when the wall fell, I found it very interesting that they were showing they had a art exposition called Deviant Art. And a lot of art was declared deviant, and it was supposed to be burned out. And actually, a lot of people hid it and ran off with it, and it made its way back. And I think that was around 92. I have to think that I was around there in 92 to 94, somewhere in there. And got to watch what they thought was deviant art. Basically, it was anything written by Jews or anybody they didn't like or anybody who had a different opinion. But it's kind of hard to see it that we aren't looking at many issues out here with a ostrich mentality. That is, if we just ignore terrorism and ISIS, it will go away. If we just give Putin a little bit more of the Ukraine, he won't take the rest of the Balkans. And pretty much history has always said that is a loser game. And I will blame those that did not do the right thing when they were called upon it, only when they were forced to do it. For those who are the true cowards, and cowards die 1,000 deaths. And anyway, I'm kind of upset about what seems to me almost brilliantly transparent looking at history. Anyway, on this day in 1969, a giant new jet airplane, 230 feet long, weighing 735,000 pounds, and capable of carrying up to 490 passengers, makes its maiden flight. Before long, the Boeing 747 has made a jet flight to a commonplace of daily life for millions of travelers. And of course, one of the things I brought up several months ago is the one stock I would not be short was Boeing. They have orders at the yin yang. They have a plane that's 10% better fuel economy than anybody else, including Airbus. General Electric, that supplies the engines for those, has engines that are about 10% better in fuel. So when you actually put everything together, the Boeing planes are probably somewhere between 15 to 16% more fuel efficient than any other plane. Plus, they're all brand new and have a lot of other things that make them cheaper to run. They are the first planes, the current ones coming out, that are all electric. There is no more hydraulic systems anywhere in them. With a multiple path control surfaces like the A-10 Warthog, which can almost lose an entire wing and still fly back home. It's just kind of interesting. But it is a interesting day out here. In Boeing, of course, this thing's back up at the top, but it broke out with all the volume and everything you wanted. Now, if we have a market pullback, as I think we will this stock come back? It will. But for the most part, they've got 5 years worth of planes to build. Let's say that we get a 3-year pullback and they deliver all the planes. They're still going to be busy for 3 years. It's not like those planes aren't going to be needed in 2 years. They'll just continue to build them and the orders will come back. Unless you think that we're going into some kind of massive, giant black hole of economies. But I think we can, if we do what is right, instead of waiting until it's all over. I think there is the possibility for us to continue to see economic growth for the years to come. But always one of the strongest stocks out here. And if you had a car that got 20% better gas mileage at the same cost, how is anybody else, since the fuel is the biggest cost of an airplane, how can you not sell everything that is the market demands? And especially with the problems with the EU, as they bust up, do you think Airbus will survive it? Also, just can it be even competitive given the clients and the atmosphere in the EU as it looks more and more every day like they're going to break up? You got 5 different countries involved for the most part in subsidizing Airbus. We've got one country subsidizing Boeing, and it's not really that much, not compared to anything compared to the Make Work program that Airbus is for the EU. But I do digress. Could it come back to $135? It could, but boy, and maybe even the light volume today signals that we've got somewhere close to a top in Boeing. But I would suggest that 135 is going to be fairly steady support and a lot weaker stocks out here in this market. You can always give me a call at 877-927-6648. That's 877-927-6648. And as we say, history is always repeating.
Just a little bit of history repeating.
As always, when news breaks, I'm here to comment on it. And of course, we talked about it, but it certainly looks like we're having more issues with foreign policy. And all I can always think about is the Jean de La Fontaine quote, "A person always meets his destiny on the road he took to avoid it," or often meets. And I can only think of Roosevelt, who did everything in the world to stop, not get involved in a war, even pretend that it did not exist. And, well, what happened? Exactly what Jean de La Fontaine said. Buffett was kind of grilled over the weekend in a Financial Times interview. 5 of the 6 analysts who cover his company, basically the 3rd largest in the U.S. stock market, said they all noticed the difficulty in modeling the company's financial results based on its quarterly filings. Mr. Buffett has had an economy with anything that actually goes on as business, and the filings are getting incredibly thin. And the question is, why does he need to have them this thin? And, well, basically, Buffett rejects all the criticism that was leveled at him over the weekend. All relevant factors for a long-term investment in the shares are being made, which basically means shut up and sit down. I make a lot of money, so therefore I don't have to answer to you, Mr. Smarty Pants. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's the one thing that always worries me about companies like Buffett's or Facebook, where everybody has total control of the company and they really don't need to say anything. One day, one of these things is going to give you a massive shock. We're going to be back in a minute. Give me a call, 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com. Post a message in the den.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Check out the new look of Tiger TV. Now you can see all hosts, charts, and computer screens live in high definition. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pezzamento, Andy Hecht, Thinkorswim, or Daryl Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV. Now, crystal clear in high definition, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't seen the new look of Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And as we come back, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. Email me in the den, or email me actually at path@tfnn.com, and or post a message in the den. And of course, we're kind of quiet out there today, and someone says it's because they're buried neck deep in snow. I suspect they've done something to anger the gods and suggested a human sacrifice. But no real answer yet in the den, in the Tiger's Den, which I recommend everybody check out from time to time. Of course, HSBC, the one of the biggest banks in the world, the Swiss banking arm of HSBC, of course, with their hands in the cookie jar, mostly on bearer bonds. If you remember the first Die Hard movie and all the bearer bonds floating down over the street corner and everything else, was kind of interesting in that they had a kind of a giant, just cloud of it when they blew the top off of that building. But that's what this is all about. There were a lot of bearer bonds being given to U.S. customers to avoid IRS issues. They put them in their safe deposit banks over there in Switzerland. And, of course, HSBC helped them figure out ways to do it. And what is known now is that our government and a lot of people in Congress were aware of it and didn't say much about it over the last year or so. And now that it's kind of leaked out, there's a whole kind of, I'm shocked there's gambling in Casablanca. Here's your warning, sir. Oh, thank you. Shocked that there's gambling in Casablanca. And everybody's kind of scrambling. My guess is that the Swiss bank is once again going to be fed to the lions on this deal. And a lot of, really? There was this going on? Well, I've never heard of it. This is the first I've heard about it. Well, you've got all these emails. Well, I'm sure that someone read them and just didn't pass them on to me. Got to be some plausible deniability in Congress, but I don't think that that is going to stop a bunch of hearings out there where they get their pound of flesh from these banks yet about taxes. Verizon Communications, of course, started selling its internet business here in Florida and elsewhere in Texas for $10.5 billion. Late on Friday, basically, they started blaming net neutrality and that they were getting rid of it for then. Of course, they actually started negotiations for this 2 years ago before there was a lot of discussion about it. So it's unclear whether they're just saying that to kind of spook everybody else off. But another company's going to take it over. We'll see how well it does. They pretty much think it's not a growth industry and are going to try to sell high-speed internet wirelessly. There's a few new technologies, and they're just going to make sure that anything that is basically to someone's home via a wire or a fiber optic cable is in somebody else's hands. It is unclear whether or not they're going to be able to have enough bandwidth and whether or not people are going to be willing to put on aerials on their houses back like in the 50s and 60s before cable television to get their internet at homes and at higher speeds. But I guess the thought on Verizon is that they'll be able to charge as long as it's wireless, as somehow that's a different form of sending bits that, basically is not to be touched by the government. My guess is that it will happen the exact same way on wireless as it will be on wired internet. And so far, the FCC chairman has said that he doesn't see why it would be any different. So we'll have to see on the 26th when this actually comes out. A lot of times, politicians are more than willing to throw some bombs out there and maybe get some campaign cash back to modify their positions. Of course, politicians can never be bought, but they can be rented at a fairly decent rate. But unclear whether or not Verizon really thinks that by selling these, they're getting out of a loser business to get in a better wireless business. Of course, we also are looking out here at Netflix today. They are talking about they're talking about putting Netflix in Cuba. The only thing is, everything I've read about Cuba, and even in the last few months, even when people just went to the country just a few weeks ago, is that it's not uncommon for them to have electricity for as much as 4 or 6 hours a day, much less internet. Is this really a big deal? Or is this more of just a stand, maybe to get in good with politicians that want to change our relationship with Cuba? We'll be back in a minute.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And as we're back, of course, this morning we had some earnings out today, and that was from Sohu, the Beijing-based internet company. Fourth quarter loss of 20 million shares, or $20 million actually, after reporting a profit in the same period a year ago. And the question is whether or not Alibaba is going to eat all. It is the Borg, and it will assimilate all companies out there. What did we have out here? I think it was, let's see what we have. Off 6.25%. 6.25%, $52.38 is the last tick out here. But down fairly significantly, volumes picking up. You've got a couple of larger lows out here. But $42.03 is open from the October 15th low. And China is not getting better. Everything that looks like, at least the numbers, continue to show that China is slowing down, and on purpose. Let's see what else we have out here. Come on, Hasbro. Hasbro came out with, I think, numbers this morning. Nice pop, but cannot hold the highs. Let me verify that. I think that was actually missed consensus EPS by 2 cents. Missed on revenues, raised dividend, announced additional share buyback, though. And that's all it took to run a few shorts out here. But again, doesn't look like it's really blowing through this November 28th high. of $59.42 with 750,000 shares from November 28th. So still interesting out here. Alcoa, again, some of the numbers out look rather bleak for manufacturing. Alcoa down lower. See if I've got that on my list of things. Downgraded to neutral from overweight at JP Morgan. A target lowered from 1850 or to 1850 from $20. And not a day to do that. ABBV, it was initiated with a sell at Citigroup, which is not a good thing. ABBV, is the name on that. And they develop, manufacture, and sell pharmaceutical products worldwide. It's adult and pediatric pharmaceuticals such as Humira, biologic therapy administered as a injection to treat autoimmune diseases. So, what else do we have out here? I think that looks fairly interesting. It is coming down to a gap, but it does have the high volume low at $52.06. And I'd say there's an 80 or 90% chance that that's exactly where this thing is going. What else do we have out here that looked interesting? Diamond Offshore Drilling beat Q4 consensus and was down a little bit lower, but declared a special dividend to get it back up into the trading range. Huge day out here with a lower open and a not that different close from Friday, but pretty a big volume. This $29 level from December 1st is likely to get tested, I think, sooner rather than later at $29 with 4.5 million shares. And I'm probably going to have some volume out there today. What else do we have out here? We talked about Hasbro, JP Morgan, OPEC, Sohu, Tahoe. All these airline stocks not liking a slightly higher crude price. And let's get a crude out here right now. Up 99 cents at $52.74. We're going to look at a couple of charts before the end of the day if I get time. It looks to me like maybe natural gas has probably come close to hitting a low, and it looks to me like we're probably fairly close to a high in crude. But most of these companies in this airline sector look like the best of times, not the worst of times, is over. And down. Not a lot of volume out here, but you could see this big gap that extends from about $56 to $61. And my guess is that that's where most of these are coming back into, are these big gaps in it. To airline, DAL is another one out here. We can see pretty much energy coming back down. Let's take a look at these retracements real quick. You know, you're back to just about a 382 retracement on the move all the way from October 13th up to January 23rd. And yeah, what can you say about other than that? It is back into the lows with decent volume of, what is that, the 16th. But probably need just a little bit more volume. But my guess is support lies somewhere around the $42 range, which is the June 5th high of last year. And I thought we had one more. We did UAL. We did that. I thought there was one more, maybe Hawaiian Airlines. Some of these other ones out here looking rather weak. But I do digress. Let's get into some other stocks that I wanted to take a look at today. D.H. Horton on Friday. Wanted to see this thing. And pretty decent setup now for confluence in D.H. Horton. My guess is that that's where this thing would probably come back to. Very light volume on Friday of 11 million shares going up against the January 13th high that had 20 million shares. Not a whole lot of juice out here today, light volume, but this one's got, if you were thinking about buying it, or I wouldn't short it, not enough meat on the bone out here, but this thing has a wickedly finite confluence range from $23 to 94 cents to $23.99. So pretty good. anyway, we were talking about some of these charts out here that look like they could give at least some level of a pullback, and basically the bear case on gold DGAS has also a wickedly good confluence level, and I think we've got a pretty good indication this also has come in with a you got this nice high on January 12th that had $8.92 and 9.4 million shares. Last 4 days in DGAS, 8.4 as it got to the high. On Friday, 6.4, today 3.8. You're really going to need this thing to break through this gap that extends way back. And that gap was a gap down on 6 million shares. And let's go back and look at that date. But that gap's been open, and it looks to me like it'd be hard for that to break. What day is that? The 13th of January, 2014. So you want to go back and look at that gap. If you thought that you wanted to be short these again for the summer, then you'd probably want to look at this back at $8.62 to $6.70. So you got about an 8-cent wide confluence level there that looks pretty sweet. So mark that on your charts. D.H. Horton, we already talked about that. Shoes. I wanted to see how old Steve Madden Shoes was doing out here. This thing's been banging against this $35 and $35.50 level a few times. July 9th, August 27th. Didn't quite make it there on November 28th, but up again on a couple days ago, 500,000 shares, and that has been an kind of an interest out here. What else can you say? Give me a call at 877-927-6648. We got plenty of time out here. Been talking occasionally about whether or not we've got any kind of movement in fertilizer. These stocks were hot at one time. Certainly looks like we've kind of hit some kind of high in potash. My wondering in this is, does the Russian involvement mean that maybe world supplies of potash would not be bought from Russia, and we're seeing pretty good prices on pot and some and Maz based on that. Certainly up here with light volume, though. Another good one that has a pretty good confluence at about $35.22 to $35.10. And if you were thinking this thing really came back on light volume, that's where you'd have to make a stand on this thing. But unclear. Certainly looks like it's made a top out here. Oxy, this is another one that makes me think maybe we've found some level of resistance, and it's not very much higher than this. You got a good confluence level from $85.05 to $84.30. Somewhat about 75 cents wide on this thing. On an $80 stock, or $85 stock, not too bad, but that would be about a buck higher than here. And just the very light volume. First, you had 9 million shares on December 3rd as it got to $83.19. Only 7.7 million shares as it got there on December 23rd, 83.25. So it went above it. Lighter volume closed below it. Of course, on Friday, 4.6 million shares basically tied the previous high and then is pulled back. So kind of hard to figure out what's going on here. You do have two pushes below a high volume low, which is that December 1st low at 76.36, went underneath it December 16th and January 24th. So is can you look at that lower low on December 16th as a higher volume low? Well, certainly compared to the January 14th low, but that horrible December 1st low out here with all the volume makes me think that it'd be kind of hard to think about shorting Oxy out here. But if you were long off one of these bounces, $85 basically takes and gives you everything in the world you thought you were ever going to get on this. So short of war, keep an eye on it. Maztec, And didn't think much of that. Live person. I know a lot of people were talking this up for a long time. Finally, he's come back and filled this gap from, what is that, June 31st of last year with 4 million shares. And the volume has just been incredibly light, but not seeing a lot of love out here in this market for it today. But, I'm keeping my eye on it. If this market were to turn, it's something like that I would look at. Right now, we're off at 6 points on the S&P cash, 2.4 billion shares. So volume is kind of pulled down as we kind of tried to hit that 2055 level a few times today. And we continue kind of pulling back. Of course, not seeing a lot of strength in the normal stocks that everybody's been running to each day. But we will take a look. I think we've got a call coming through, and if we can get our wonderful guys to type it. There it is. Rich in Portland. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for taking my call, David.
You're welcome.
I was looking at an internet security type company called Vasco, and I was wondering, is this an entry time possibly for Vasco?
Well, you certainly did come down and test the gap down here with lighter volume. This thing took off on the 27th of November with, almost 800,000 shares came back into it, though with too much volume. And, is that right? Oh, is that, what do I got? 4.4 million shares, excuse me. Came back to it without volume on 800,000 shares on January 28th. So, yeah, you're in this thing with 25%. You got your, what Wyckoff called was an automatic rally. What you would want for this thing to do is probably come back to about 19 bucks, maybe 19 and a half. And to see all the volume disappear. But like I said, you need the market to be at your back. And right now, I don't suspect it is. If we saw some kind of giant sea change, the Russians started to leave the Ukraine, the ISIS left the Mideast, maybe a few things that went our way.
Yeah.
I would change my view on it.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah. Two, this is not as well known as some of the other ones like FireEye or Palo Alto that are getting all the love, at least from the more well-known funds and fund managers.
Yes. I'd also looked at Fortinet versus this Vasco.
Yeah. To tell you the truth, FireEye is the one I like in this sector the best. Not saying that you should buy it. Just I like what they're doing with their software out there. And, unfortunately, could it come back at you? It certainly can. They haven't really found out a real good way to make money yet, but they have dropped down the best product from what I hear in the industry. So what I've been waiting, in fact, this one, another reason I probably wouldn't pick up your particular stock is this one's given a pretty good signal here in just the last couple of days that it's topped out for FireEye. The September 11th high at 17 million shares from last year at 36.85. Basically tied it last week with 10 million shares. So you're into it with almost half the volume. Probably going to come back at 32. I'd look for all these. You want to hang through the break?
Sure.
Okay. We'll come back and talk more about security software, but I think you want these as a group kind of to pull back and gain some support together.
Trade with confidence and clarity while using the software that thousands of institutional traders rely on to make the best and most accurate decisions. Choose from 1,000 equities, currencies, and futures instruments utilizing the TAS architecture. As seen on Bloomberg terminals worldwide, the TAS Profile Scanner is a benchmark technical filtering system that thousands of traders rely on, and now you can too. For a limited time for TFNN subscribers only, we've reduced the price to just $97. That's over 75% off. John Logan hosted a special subscriber-only webinar in December, and you'll gain access to that archive as well, so you can learn exactly what the TAS Profile Scanner can do for you. Try this product out. No matter what you trade, the TAS Profile Scanner can help you make more informed trading decisions. There's no obligation to pay anything. Don't let this offer pass you by. Get your 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner today by signing up at TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy, a set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders, take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And we're talking to Rich in Portland. And we wanted to look at a couple other in this sector. Palo Alto. What you want to, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Here's one of the things I think you would want to look at. You probably want to look at Palo Alto and FireEye before you buy either one of those. But Palo Alto has a great confluence level at about 103 to about 102.30. And that's really where you would like to see this sector come back and kind of base out. At least on that one. Go to FireEye, FEYE, and kind of the same thing. There is kind of a nice level at about $32 that would be fairly decent support in this one. And then go back, and if you see both of those stocks there, go back and take a look on what Vasco does maybe at that time. But these things have a real tendency to trade together.
Okay.
So I would try to make sure that you're looking at 3 or 4 in that sector. You were looking at one other?
Fortinet. FTNT, I believe is the symbol.
Yeah, FTNT. I think they just had earnings not too long ago. This one's got a bigger confluence range, probably around 27 or $28. You got a low back here at $28.57. My guess is that gets tested. You've got too much volume down there on July 29th. So could this thing come back $3? Look at the rest of them. Wait for them to come back to at least some kind of support level. Fortinet could get down to 27.50 probably.
Okay.
And, you see them all based out there. The volume all falls out. That would be good. If you see tanks rolling through and Chinese hackers going mad, you could probably just buy these anyway. But right now, I don't see anything that makes me think these don't get a normal retracement.
Okay.
But,
and that's just because of what you're seeing in the market in general?
General market conditions, yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, there's just no safe way with a decent risk reward to get these.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you. We're gonna go to Chris in Wisconsin real quick. How you doing, Chris?
Hi, Dave.
Hi.
Can you take a look at WPRT?
Yep. Westport Innovations. This company was going to make it big by converting gasoline cars to natural gas, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, they also do big engines for CAT and John Deere, et cetera.
But, I mean, that's where they had this huge run as everybody was getting on the big bandwagon of going to natural gas. Some nice volume out here today. What's your question on this?
Well, I had the fortune to get in on it at $3.37, and I'm going to hold it here for a little while. I'm expecting it to cool itself off in a day or two.
I would, a day or two. You know how to put in a trailing stop?
Yes, I already have one in at right now at 463.
Okay. I would probably move that up, but other than that, I think you're fine.
Okay.
I mean, the only thing I would be worried about, and of course it's not the end of the day today, is that you get a fairly decent reversal. We'll see what we got right now. We're at 2047, and you're going to see probably major selling come in this market below 2038, because there's a lot of black boxes that are just going to look at that level and start pulling the trigger and start selling. And that's what you need to avoid. If you get anywhere close to that on the S&P cash, you may really think about taking your cash right then.
All right.
We're 10 points over that right now, so watch the end of the day. But I wouldn't want to be holding this for a gap down tomorrow below 2038 on the S&P cash.
Thank you, Dave.
You bet. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. Remember to sell when you can, not when you have to.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, oil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. You're watching Tiger TV.